A eventful week, gentlemen, in sports, to say the least. Um, but we got a really packed show today. We got about a dozen different topics to talk about, and let's dive right in, man. Let's uh let's jump right into it, and let's try. We will get back on the up yours Houston Astros Express and headed back to the Windy City. And we will start there in Chicago with the Bears and Packers recap. JD, take it away, brother. I want your initial thoughts first, and then we'll just dive into the questions.
We got to start. Yeah. We have to start with the 100-year rivalry. We have to. We absolutely have to. So what can I say about it, man? It's been 100 years. It's been a lot of different eras, and this entire era has been defined by one guy, and that's Aaron Rodgers. He's been absolutely dominant, and it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. I think that what I can take away from that game is that the Bears have an absolute ton to work with. They have an absolute ton of talent. They were in the game very much so for 3.5 quarters, maybe even a little bit into the fourth quarter. You could say they're still in the game, and they played good. I mean, they played really well. A few big key mistakes by young quarterback Justin Fields, obviously, defined the entire game, and it defined the entire game. And basically, what I would say is that Aaron Rodgers is right. He does own the Bears. Ultimately, we have a lot to build on. Yes, we have a really, really good foundation, but there's so much more to be done. There's so much more to be done in Chicago, and Aaron Rodgers exposed us. He exposed us for the wannabes that we are. But what is your thoughts as an outsider?
I'll tell you one thing. As an outsider, just a fan of neither team, and just a fan of football in general. I mean, not only a fan of the Patriots, but a fan of football in general. That was an entertaining game, man. That was an entertaining game to watch. To see the kind of the young buck take on the old bull there, Aaron Rodgers and company. That was an entertaining game to watch. And I totally agree with you. I think outside of a few key mistakes and bad times, I made a couple of notes down here, and I'll run them by you, and you tell me what you think. So one thing that I just from watching that game, the defense for the Bears, again, it's from the start of the year, JD, from
solid.
Week 1 on to now, they started off slow, and they've gradually there's been more than 2 or 3 games that they're the sole reason you guys are in those games. Like the Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack and the front seven, they kept you guys in that Packer game for pretty much 3.5 quarters. They held strong, man. Like I was impressed again with the Chicago D.
No, yeah, I agree. And the defense was beyond impressive. They have been all year. They're young, they're athletic, they're in Khalil Mack is in his prime. The problem is, I feel like I hope that we don't miss Khalil Mack's prime. We got a couple more years in the window. We have some clear weaknesses on the defense, but this is what I'll say: the Bears' defense already, even at a young age, even at this young stage, they're tough to beat. It takes them a long time. Like, Rodgers had to break them down. It took him about 3 quarters to really wear them out, and then he did what he wanted after that. And that's just the way it goes with Aaron Rodgers. He figures out ways to do things, but yes, I agree with you. The defense is solid already at the young age that they're at. Very, very solid. Lots to build on. But yeah, it's hard to argue with that point.
Can we talk about that Mack attack? Khalil Mack.
He's a monster.
He's in the prime of his career right now, dude. And am willing to bet that Vegas is looking at that going, man, I wish we didn't get rid of that. Because he is, along with Roquan Smith, and it's see, you know who the biggest beneficiary of Khalil Mack being who he is?
Roquan. Probably everyone, but yeah,
Roquan Smith and Johnson. It's that other side of the defense,
and
that
Johnson.
other side of the defense, because you have to plan. You have to, dude. He's a home wrecker. He's a home wrecker and a game wrecker, and you always need to know where he is on the field at any given time. And then Roquan kind of gets lost. He gets lost in translation, and he's able to make. I've seen him make a couple of really good plays because the offense was so focused on Mac.
You said it. I mean, like Mac is if you start getting momentum in one area, Mac will just turn the energy up, get a nice, tackle for loss or a solid sack. This guy can really do it all. But the thing is, Mac is that it's his very best. I've noticed when he has a solid secondary. When the secondary is playing well, Mac can do anything. He can just feast on everyone. But if there's a weakness that's being exploited, or if they're tired, they're being worn out, like we saw in the fourth quarter. What are you gonna do? I mean, like Mac he's only one man. You know what I mean? He can only do so much. So,
so that kind of leads me into my next note for the just on the defensive side. So obviously they held strong for a lot of the game, like 3.5 quarters.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, what do the good quarterbacks do over time? It's throughout it. They just wear them out. It's the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady, the Drew Brees, the Peyton Manning, the Ben Roethlisberger. These guys, they just keep chipping away and keep hammering away at these good defenses, right? And sooner or later, if you keep them on the field for 35 plus minutes, come that final 10 minutes of the fourth quarter, there's just nothing. There's nothing left. They've literally exhausted every ounce of energy. And I think that's exactly what happened to Chicago, because the final quarter is what really, really sunk the Bears, because you could see they were trying, but there just was Rodgers and company just wore them out.
We needed Justin to take that step. He's just not there yet. And it's okay. It's all right, guys. Like, fellow Bears Nation, everyone who's watching this, like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It takes guys a little bit of time. And we're going to talk about it later. But Dak Prescott is the perfect example of be patient. If you have potential, let it ride. You know what I mean? Don't let it ride. See if you can get some wins with that potential and see if you can build off of it. Justin Fields is not a lost cause by any means. He has some issues. He has some problems. These are probably the things that Matt Nagy didn't want to, the reason why he didn't want to start him to begin with. That's the reason. But
this is the rookie roller coaster, dude. This is the rookie roller coaster. It is what it is.
Exactly.
They have to learn. One, they have to learn like their limits, their limitations. Like what am I capable of right now, and how far can I push things? You know what I mean? They have to learn that, and the only way they can do that is by making mistakes. And in a way, I kind of give Fields credit, because he knew that his D was getting tired, and he was that. I think that some of those throws into tight windows like that, where it was him just trying to make a play and make a spark, and that was just him it was him trying to carry the load. And like you said it perfectly, just because he's not ready right now doesn't mean he won't ever be ready to do it. It's a process. These rookie quarterbacks have always and will always be. Their first year it's an experience for them, man.
This game, though, it kind of makes me a little bit like, and it was a Bears fan. I have to give him credit. I can't take credit for this because it was something I saw on Facebook. It was a Facebook. It was like a pigskin group or something like that. It was one of the Bears fans talking. Anyway, what they said was very interesting, and I had mentioned it a few weeks ago, but I didn't give it as much thought. We Matt Nagy is really the person that's holding us back. And let me break it down very quickly. So Ryan Pace has put all of this talent together. And Ryan Pace, yes, he's missed on some things. Like he's not perfect at all. But I think the person that's so obviously the problem now is Matt Nagy. And that's the thing. I don't dislike Matt Nagy. I don't have a problem with him. But I think we need a change of direction. And I think that Ryan Pace, in order to keep his job too going forward, should consider somebody like Jim Harbaugh. And I know it's a big name drop, but like it makes a lot of sense. It's a defensive coach. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's had a mobile quarterback he's also had an accurate quarterback. Justin Fields is both. You bring him in. He's got a fiery personality. You take all that talent and you like that's a Super Bowl team in like a couple years with Jim Harbaugh, in my opinion. What is your thoughts about that?
So the biggest thing that I took away, kind of for the that I'm taking away each game from the season from watching Chicago play, they're a young team. They're a young team, dude. Young teams take sometimes seasons, not just a season, but seasons to develop chemistry together with one another, right? And then you add in a rookie quarterback on top of it. So, I think that's part of it. Like the team is just very young, and the experience, I think the experience will come. You're getting it they're getting better. It seems like they're getting better every game. And Jim Harbaugh is an interesting one because I kind of like that, to be honest. I kind of like that name. I think he would, it's a good mix of like new school and old school, because Harbaugh is a defensive minded guy and he would embrace the whole like smash mouth Chicago, defense, hard nosed D. But at the same time, I think he would be able to integrate work. I think he would be able to work with Lazar, better than Nagy would. And sometimes it takes a change, sometimes it takes a change like that to sometimes that can be a really good thing. A change like from a management position like that, it can change stuff. But I
just see him as the weakest link, Nagy. Like, don't you think he's like the weakest link? Like everyone else seems to be.
Don't fit the new direction of a team, dude. Sometimes coaches just don't fit the new direction that the team's trying to go in. And it's not saying that Nagy's a bad coach. It's just saying that the direction of the team is just. I just don't think his style meshes well with the style that they're trying to play.
I don't know if he's a great leader. I just don't know if he's a great leader. That's kind of all I wanted to say. Like, that's my only thoughts of the Bears is watching that game. I don't know if Matt Nagy is a great leader. I think he's a good coach. He has good ideas. He's a good football mind, but is he a good leader? And Jim Harbaugh, I know, is a good leader. So I don't know. It's something I thought of, but that's kind of all I had to say about the Bears. It was kind of what I expected. I'm just glad we were in the game for as long as we were.
Yeah, I'd like to make only one point. Bears fans should be proud right now. They went in for a dogfight. Like they shut you out in the second, third quarter. This is going to be really, really quick, but you guys were never out of that ball game. Like, I really don't care what the score says. There was a few choice plays that took you out of that game, but you guys are always in it. Your defense came to play. Your offense, other than the picks and some bad play calling, like you guys are in that ball game against the Packers, who are 5-1, who are destined for the playoffs. You guys should be proud. I was entertained, and it was a dogfight, and it was a really, really good game.